In the course of making my videos on narcissism, I've been very surprised by the number of people who leave comments saying that their former narcissist was a double Scorpio. Being a double Scorpio means that you have 2 of 3 signs that are Scorpio, primarily. You have an ascendant sign, a sun sign, and a moon sign. The ascendant is the sign rising in the east when you're born. Most people know their sun sign. And then you have a sign the moon is in. So being a double Scorpio, and it's possible to have all 3, by the way, the same sign, though it's rare. Being a double Scorpio would mean you have at least 2 of those 3. And so I was really struck by, the number of people who said that their narcissist was double Scorpio. And my video about the scorpion and the frog, where I also used the Aesop fable as an analogy, calling the narcissist a scorpion. And that of course made people think of Scorpio, and there were a lot of comments about double Scorpio on there. And I usually respond by saying, that's interesting, but I must confess to myself being a lunar Scorpio. I do have the moon in Scorpio. And I have my sun in Aries, but what may soften those 2 traits are the fact that I'm a Cancer rising, which I've talked about in other videos. So it's interesting, when so many people come forward talking about double Scorpio, I think maybe there is something that needs to be addressed. And so in thinking about the narcissists that I've known, there was one woman in particular with somewhat more overt narcissistic antisocial traits, and she had the moon in Leo, and she was an Aries. I do not know her rising sign. I wish that I did. I don't know her ascendant. But she had the North Node, also known as Rahu, conjunct the moon. That can lend itself to a good bit of narcissism. Now, the more covert narcissist girl that I knew here recently, about a year back, she was a Scorpio rising. She had the sun in Pisces, but her Pisces was also conjunct with the North Node. Her sun was conjunct with the North Node, Rahu, as well, which also lends itself to narcissism. She had the moon in the fire sign Sagittarius. But interestingly enough, yes, I knew her rising sign, and it was Scorpio. So there are some Scorpio traits involved in narcissism. I know narcissists who have Scorpio rising. In fact, Scorpio rising may be the biggest culprit here. So let's talk about Scorpio a little bit. Scorpio may have the reputation as being vindictive and unforgiving. And that's true to some degree. But I think it comes out of our need, and I say our because I am a lunar Scorpio. I think it comes out of our need of, we really have a very strong sense of justice, and we need justice in our lives. We're very deep, we're very passionate, we're very intense. Surprisingly, we're also extremely prudish people. So the heart of Scorpio and Aries, which means rival of Mars, the ominous red Scorpio. You've got to understand that Scorpios go through a lot of trauma in life. The ascendant and the lunar Scorpio. I don't know about so much the sun in Scorpio, but I know that the lunar and the ascendant sign of Scorpio goes through a lot of trouble in life. You have to remember that the generation born in the 80s, early 80s, had Pluto in Scorpio as well. That would have been about that would have been the late 80s that you had Pluto in Scorpio. But anyway, So, so yeah, I mean, you are onto something to a degree. I mean, but we're intense. We're very protective of what we love, and we want to have that all to ourselves, and we want to have a sense of justice. Can too much Scorpio make you a vindictive narcissist? Maybe. Can it make you venomous? Maybe. Can it make you sting reflexively and hurt people and take advantage? Maybe that's true. But I would not say that Scorpio is fundamentally those things. I know, Scorpio, the constellation of Scorpio is a villainous sign. Sagittarius is trying to kill him with his bow. Someone, I think it's a Fucus, is standing on Scorpio. So Scorpio as a constellation is villainous. But you have to remember that signs are not constellations. So, yes, there are traits, but in general, I think the Scorpio is loving, intense, and has a tremendous sense of wanting to see justice. And a true, well-balanced Scorpio would never, I don't think they would ever treat someone in an unjust fashion. But when you have double Scorpio and a lot of trauma in your life, it's possible, and there is something there, and I thought I would try to address that today.